last time. I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
Something about these bright lights that brings the best out of these guys. Let's go! Let's go!
Tear down when I tear it up.
Wallace again. Oh! Sheffield on fire. High pass and Delpesh jams it in.
Out of nowhere, just explodes and just lets the camera know.
Time. Here's Glasgow. He's going to take the threes and he strings another.
We're live from the Ponds Forge International Sports Centre in the Steel City, where the B-Brawn Sheffield Sharks host the Surrey Scorchers. Very good evening to you. 30 minutes or so away from tip-off, and at this stage of the proceedings, the BBL playoff picture really starting to take shape. Delighted to say Drew Lasker, Kieran Achara, present and correct as ever. Good to see you both. Let's start with the Sheffield Sharks, Drew, because they had, well, a horrendous start to 2022, but they've turned it round in the last month. What's been the key to that change?
Well, I came here a month ago and said they couldn't score. Well, over the last 5 games, problem solved, scoring 18 more points a game. And they brought us in some guy called Antoine Johnson, who's helped all their needs.
I think what Drew Lasker is saying is he's been the key to that change based on that answer.
Definitely. No, you bring that scoring prowess has changed the game.
We know their offense is starting to roll, but the Sharks all about defense once again. Other than the Leicester Riders, the league leaders, is this the most organised and efficient defence in the BBL right now?
They are definitely up there, and for me it's because they take away the three-point shot. And modern basketball before my time, people want to shoot the three. Sheffield do a great job of taking that away, and they don't turn the ball over offensively, which also allows them to take away fast break points.
So going up against such a strong defence is a tall order for most BBL sides, but this Surrey offence has failed to get going all season long, ranking dead last in the BBL. What have been the causes of their offensive woes?
The biggest cause is personnel. They do not have the players. They cannot stay healthy. I'm not knocking the strength and conditioning from the Surrey Scorchers at this moment in time, but they've found it really hard to stay healthy and get some consistency at that end.
Well, we'll look at some of the key players and matchups in a little more detail in our build-up. Only one other game tonight in the BBL sees the Plymouth City Patriots in the capital to face the Lions. These two meet again on Sunday when it's London's turn to make the road trip. It's a busy weekend for the Sharks too. They're also in action again. They travel to Glasgow to face the Rocks. Sheffield, as we said, have had a good month. They won 3 on the bounce, although their last game they ran into the league-leading Leicester Riders, who've lost just 1 game all season long. Cheshire in second spot in red-hot form, having 10 wins under their belt now. The chasing pack of the Sharks, the Giants, and the Eagles all have games in hand on Cheshire, though. The Lions, a little bit misleading with them in 6th, but they've only played 9, so expect them to rise up the table. Plymouth and Glasgow chasing playoff spots. Surrey struggling to make the cut, as you'll see there. Their only win in the league this season came against London on New Year's Day. These two met last month, and it was a very special day for the Sharks captain and our very own Mike Tuck. He led the Sharks to victory, scoring 16 points to become their all-time leading scorer in the process. And he was backed up as well with double-figure contributions from Jordan Retino and recent signing Devonte Wallace. Stanley Davis Jr. Made a double-double for Surrey, but it wasn't enough for the Scorchers. So Sheffield's coming out on top. Number of changes to the Sharks roster in recent weeks. The exit of Aaron Anderson, perhaps the most notable. How big a loss will that prove to be, Kieran?
you know what? I think Anderson got a great start this season. I had high expectations of him. He was scoring the ball very, very well, and then for some reason it just stopped. You know, it was very, very comfortable. So I think, you know, they have added Johnson, and I think that's made the difference right now to the Sheffield Sharks.
Yeah, Johnson drafted in as a replacement and already stepping up. Despite the changes, how strong is this roster, Drew? This Sharks roster compared to the last couple of years? Would you say it's perhaps the strongest roster we've seen from Sheffield, maybe in the last 3 or 4?
Yeah, I would like to agree. And, you know, they brought in a lot of experience with this team, which what they lacked last year. They had a lot of talent, but not experience. It takes experience to win in the British Basketball League. They're tough on both sides of the ball. The offense was lacking. They picked that up. They're going to be a tough team to face in the playoffs.
Well, last time we saw him, you called him a top 4 side. You said that was their ceiling, and that seems to be completely on point. That's the realistic objective right now, finish as high up in the table as they can for the playoffs. Exactly.
This is the team that I was envisioning. They had the right recipe, just not the right ingredients. And credit to Atiba Lyons. He's changed up, tinkered the roster, and now he looks like he's got it right.
Well, Johnson, the newest addition at the other end of that spectrum is the seasoned vet, and then some, Mike Tuck. It is 13th season with Sheffield, and a record-breaking year it's been as well. As I said, he's now the all-time leading scorer in franchise history. He's also the all-time leading rebounder, the skipper, the leader, the very heartbeat of this Sharks franchise, isn't he, Drew?
I mean, Mike Tuck is what to Sheffield what Darius Defoe is to Newcastle Eagles. Everything. I mean, you read all of those accomplishments there. Just a credit to him, to his longevity and his professionalism.
What a ride it has been for Mike, and it is still going strong. Let's hear a little bit more from the Sharks history maker about his remarkable journey.
My name is Mike Tuck. I'm a 13-year vet for the Sheffield Sharks. I was born and raised in Toronto, Canada, and picked up a basketball probably around the age of 10. And from then on, it was, you know, this love affair with the sport. And from there, I realized that I wanted to go down to the States and try and get an athletic scholarship. I ended up doing a post-grad year at a prep school in Maine. From there, I got an athletic scholarship to Loyola, Maryland. Played there for 4 years, had a great career there, and decided I want to head over to Europe. And I played in a few different places around Europe, Cyprus, Luxembourg, France, before I ended up on the sunny shores of England. When I moved here, I didn't think I'd be here longer than a year or two, you know, maybe 1 season, maybe 2 seasons. That was how my career had been going before that, short stops in every country I'd been in. So, you know, for me, coming to Sheffield, having immediate success. We won a cup my first season, signed back to come back for my second season. We won another cup that season, so back-to-back cups just got me kind of addicted to silverware, and the chase for silverware was a lifelong career from there.
Tuck from the top, got it! Mike Tuck is the new Sheffield Sharks leading all-time scorer.
What an incredible moment for me in my career. I never really thought I'd ever even get here, but just something really special that I'll always remember, and that, you know, nobody can really ever take away from me, unless there's another guy who comes after me. You know, hopefully, you know, records are made to be broken. Me and Coach Atiba Lyons have a great relationship. You know, I've been here long enough that he knows me, I know him. We trust each other. We're always very honest with each other, you know, and I think that's very important with a coach and a player and a captain relationship.
Top of the key, that's his shot, knocks down the three.
Mike Tuck stepping into that shot, he's not going to miss too many of those.
I mean, I'm an extremely blessed guy. I've had so many amazing moments throughout my career. You know, definitely one that stands out to me right away is the 2016 BBL playoff finals.
Wow, tough try. Beautiful touch off the fingers.
You know, I ended up having a huge game and taking home MVP and a big win. You know, my mother had flown over from Canada, and I had a bunch of family in the crowd. So, huge moment for me. Another moment that sticks out to me is being named captain of Team England at the 2018 Commonwealth Games and having the opportunity to go head-to-head against, my former teammate Kieran Achara when we played England versus Scotland. Something special that I'll always remember. There's been a lot of things that have changed in the BBL over the years, but everything for the good. When I first got here, the league was strong and there was lots of talent, but I think the league has definitely upped their game in terms of talent-wise. I think that teams moving into their own venues has been a huge thing and has had a huge effect on the league. And I think that we'll continue to see that trend throughout the league, which will help strengthen, the brand of the league as a whole. And then obviously the new investment coming in is exciting right now. So I've always called myself Yorkshire's adopted son. I think that I've been here long enough now that I'm not just an honorary Sheffielder. I'm the real deal. I'm a Sheffielder now, for sure. There's a popular sports bar within Sheffield, and they've actually asked to have one of my jerseys put up within the sports bar. So, for me, that's a pretty special moment. It's up there with a bunch of my other achievements, but to come into a pub or a bar and see your name or your jersey up on the wall is pretty special.
Presumably there are bars in Newcastle and Glasgow that have your respective jerseys up, right?
They valued those bars as well.
So many terrific memories for Mike Tuck over the last decade plus. That England-Scotland game must have been special for both of you, given how far you two go back.
It was a big game, great game. Having them there, being with family as well, it was a great occasion.
It's amazing, Drew, to think, to hear him say that he thought he'd only be here for a year, given what we know now.
Yeah, you might look at his stats and say, where does he bring value off the court? Leadership. He brings culture, which from experience you've got to have if you're going to win in this league.
He's averaging 11 minutes a game this year, which is entirely logical at this stage of his career. His minutes are limited. So what is Atiba Lyons looking to from him when he's on the court?
To step up when he's needed. Obviously, he's not playing as many minutes. His numbers aren't as eye-popping. But when it's time, when his number's called, he step up. If you revert back to the last Surrey game, he came off the bench giving the team 16 much-needed points.
There are a number of younger players that Mike Tuck is providing leadership for within this side. Antoine Johnson, the new signing at point guard, Drew, and a bright start.
He's just what the doctor ordered. 63 points in his last 3 games off the bench. And he brings Sheffield, which every successful team needs in the league, being able to create your own shot.
Looking forward to seeing him in action tonight. Devonte Wallace, another one of their newer faces, although more of a seasoned operator. It was a slow start, I think it's fair to say, for him as a Shark. Has that picked up, Kieran?
Yeah, it definitely has. And what Drew said at the top, he brings experience as well. He came into this role knowing his game. He's very self-aware, knows what he can do, what he can't do, and he's been playing quite efficiently ever since that start.
The Sharks have had a lot of change in the backcourt. Rodney Glasgow in the mix at the moment. Is that why they are struggling in terms of assists in the league? Second last at the moment, that lack of continuity?
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing that the departure of Anderson has uplifted Rodney Glasgow, and you almost see the handing of the keys from Tuck to Glasgow as he's become the bona fide leader for this team.
Now, we know that Mike Tuck loves the Friday Night Lights, but so does this guy, Jordan Retino, because every time we've seen him play over the last couple of years, Kieran, he puts on a show. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the BBL right now.
One of the best three-point shooters, and we say he is Mr. Sky Sports. He loves to step up in a big occasion, and I keep on saying it over and over again. I just love the way he plays off the ball as well. All
right, that is some of the key players in this Sharks lineup. The Scorchers warming up as preparation for the big game continues here in Sheffield. Next up, we'll take a look at some of the superheroes in this Surrey side.
Probably Black Panther.
I'll probably say Superman, because can't nobody stop him.
Probably the coolest superhero out there.
And I feel like can't nobody stop me unless they find out my kryptonite.
Welcome back to Sheffield. Sharks Scorchers, our live game tonight, Friday night basketball here on Sky Sports. The Surrey players going through their paces. They're in a tough run of form at the moment, just one win all season in the league. And we talked about their offensive struggles, but defensively, well, they've not been much better and further weakened by the loss of Saquon Jameson to injury. Kieran, talk us through the gap that he leaves.
You know, he was a massive rebounder as well. You know, it's one of those things, who's going to step up to the plate? And I think it's going to have to be a collective effort. Injury
is a word we seem to attribute a lot to Surrey this season across the board, as we mentioned at the top of the show. So how difficult has it been, Drew, for Coach Creon to build any kind of chemistry, any kind of rhythm when he's got that constant disruption?
Well, there it is. He hasn't been able to. When you go through this many injuries over the course of the season, chemistry is one of the most important things you got to have in team sports. Surrey has been able to do that, been unable to do that. Every game they have a different starting lineup. It's a tough hand they've been dealt.
No Legend Robertson, Jules Dangakodo, both missing for them tonight as well. Desmond Ringer is playing. He starts for Surrey, new addition to the roster. What does he bring, Kieran?
You know what, I'm looking for a positive spark here, because I think he's a versatile player. Along with Thomas, you know, now they can both play inside out. That could really cause a lot of disruption to the other defences.
When morale in the camp, and it must be low right now when you've been on this run of form, a player on a struggling side, particularly the veterans in the locker room, what are you telling yourself at this stage and telling the younger players at this stage of the season?
You know, you talk about building, so it's looking for the positive. So I always talked about within a quarter, you know, win 3 minutes, win 4 minutes. Actually, what did we do well for those 3 minutes? What didn't we do well? So everything can be fixed. And if you have that mindset that everything can be fixed, there's always hope.
Well, there are some big names in this Surrey side that can start to turn things around, including the skipper, Teo Ogadengbe, and the top scorer, Stanley Davis. We put those two under the spotlight.
Action.
My name is Stanley Davis.
Teo Ogadengbe.
Combo guard.
Small forward.
And I play for the Surrey Scorchers. I say tough, buckets.
Oh, what a finish that is from Davis.
Lock up. Well, that's 4 words, but lock up.
I'm a versatile player. I can pretty much do anything on the court, so I'd say I'm an all-rounder.
Fear no one. Because we live in a world where a lot of things can hinder people's decisions, life values, and certain things like that. So, fear no one.
Stay positive. That's probably the best advice I've ever been given. Despite whatever happens, just stay positive, keep pushing through, keep kicking on, and always plans out good at the end. Probably Black Panther, probably the coolest superhero out there.
I'll probably say Superman, because can't nobody stop him unless they have kryptonite. And can't nobody find out my kryptonite.
As Davis gets his man in the air, takes the shot, finds the bottom of the net.
Somebody gave me a foot scrub. I think it was my brother, actually. My brother gave me a foot scrub one Christmas. And I was like, what is this? Like, yeah, that was pretty terrible.
A teddy bear. And talking about hug it. I'm not hugging no teddy bear. My favorite city would be LA. I like calm and subtle but fast here and there, and it's a great mixture in LA.
London, I'm biased because I'm from London, born and raised, so I gotta go with London.
American football.
I mean, if I didn't like not getting hit in the face, I could have done some sort of martial art, but I don't want to be hit in the face. That's not happening. So
I love hitting people, but I also have great hands, so I would probably play wide receiver. So yeah, American football. Money just have money. Ooh, child.
If money was no object, I'd probably buy a basketball team or buy a league. I don't know.
I would help my entire family out with living a great life.
That's what I love. Basketball's what I love, so why not put some money into it?
Disappointed, no love for Houston or Sterling there in favourite places. He's had a word there. Intrigued with Stanley Davis' NFL ambitions as well. He says receiver. I can see him as a safety, Drew.
Yeah, or a cornerback as well. This guy has been the bright spot for the Surrey Scorchers. He's played the Superman role. He's brought a lot of tenacity, energy, and has a bright future ahead.
Mike Tuck is connected. We all know that, but even he doesn't have kryptonite. So how will the Sharks stop him tonight?
They got to make sure they stay in front of him, keep a body in him, force him to over-dribble, over-penetrate, and force him to make plays from the outside.
Do you have a sense that if they've got a shot tonight, a credible shot, he's got to bring his A game?
He has to. There's no doubt about it. A+ game to be exact. I mean, Kieran talked about it at the top. This is a team that lack bodies, so you need guys like him, Hamrick, and Teo to step up and play beyond themselves.
Well, Teo was missing last time we saw Surrey against Plymouth a month or so ago. Is he that veteran leader on the court that Coach Creon will be looking to turn it around?
Well, he can be that consistent player for sure, but I'm just happy to see him back on the court. We thought he was going to be out for the season. He's now coming back. He's saying he's pain-free at the moment. Talk about staying positive. That's great. Staying positive. He's back on the court playing the game he loves.
Devon Thomas added around a month ago, when he was signed, Coach Creon referenced his prowess from the three-point range, Drew, and he's been chancing his arm there as well. 33 attempts from downtown in just 6 games, so he could emerge tonight as a key part of the Surrey offense.
Absolutely. He comes in with a reputation as a bona fide shooter. He shot over 40% in Denmark, and he's starting to find his feet, starting to find his rhythm. Over the last 3 games, he has 2 double-doubles, looking to have a big one tonight.
Lamar Hamrick, a 22-year-old American import, his first year as a pro, and he had a great start. Last time we saw him against the Raiders. He's had some big games this season, but is he delivering consistently enough for you?
No, not at this moment. But like you mentioned, he's a rookie. We all go through growing pains in that first year. There's an opportunity that I just don't feel like he's grabbing with all the injuries. I just want him to step up and take the bull by the horns.
Caden Raftopoulos, they beat London earlier in the season. They're only winning the league, and in that game, he had a really big night.
He had a huge game, and that's another thing. They've been struggling from the three-point line. Kalen is a player who can hit down big shots. He just needs to get a little bit more consistent, and I think they'll have a chance to start winning some games.
All right, let's get the coach's perspective. Drew caught up with Coach Atiba Lyons and Coach Creon Raftopoulos a little bit earlier on.
Coach, thoughts on the season so far?
Well, it's getting better. I think the team I have right now is very competitive, strong defensively, can put the points on the board, so I like where we are right now.
Probably the toughest season I've ever been involved in. I think our injury situation has been well documented, and it continues from day one right up to where we are right now. But, you got to play the games, and so my focus is to try and coach the guys that I do have as best as I can.
Several changes to your roster this season. What are the challenges of integrating new talent?
Well, right now it's been pretty good. I think everyone's accepting the roles as they came in, but you never know how that's going to go. People come in with their own preconceived notions of what's going to happen for them this season and their individual goals, and sometimes it always marry up with the team. So I think this team's bought in.
Talking about rotations, usually, a sixth man knows. He looks at the clock, irrespective of the score. He knows when he's going into the game. Same thing with your 7th man or your 8th man, or if somebody picks up a foul, he knows who's going in. But I honestly don't remember having back-to-back same starting 5s.
And what's the mindset as you enter the second half of the season?
Every game's a must-win for us. We dropped a lot early if we want to be top 4, and we got to make sure we don't drop anymore.
When we get onto the court, we can get a 40-minute performance, because I think if you look at some of our games, there have been games where it's two quarters of good basketball, which is not going to win, and sometimes 3 quarters of good basketball, but it's that 1 quarter that lets us down.
You met last month. Anything you'd be doing differently tonight?
I think it'll be similar game plan. I think they did a good job of just kind of getting off on some sets early on and getting to the rim and getting some easy points. So we got to make sure we make it a little more difficult for them. But pretty happy with the game plan we had.
Your guy is Mike Tuck, right? So he just decided that he is going to choose our game to get the game ball and do what he did. But no, I think Atiba's put together a very good team. The additions that he's made, I think, fit well into his system.
Finally, what are the keys to getting a win tonight?
You got to limit their good looks. A very, very talented team, a lot of scores, and then get up and down. But, you got to play some good man-to-man defense.
For us, it's always going to be that defensive intensity for one. We just need to maintain that defensive intensity for a long time. And I think with the young group that I have, it's discipline. It's the discipline in sticking to executing. We know how good Stanley Davis Jr. can be, but he's got to leave his Superman cape in the changing room and just play team ball like he's capable of doing. And if we can get that from Stanley and the others chip in, then we'll be there or thereabouts to win a basketball game.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
There's a very sad news this week that Alto Virgil has passed away aged just 39. During his career in the BBL, he played for the Sheffield Sharks, gone far too soon. So now we'll have some applause in his memory. Very sad news indeed. Alto Virgil passing away this week, aged just 39 years old. Okay, we're going to turn our attention back to tonight's game. Let's look at some of the team head-to-head and see where some of the key matchups are going to be here. Turnovers, if we're looking here for Surrey, dead last in the BBL, so that discipline needs to be improved. Bench scoring a real mismatch as well. Sheffield Drew averaging almost twice as many points for the bench as Surrey.
Yeah, over the last 3 games, Surrey has only scored a total of 13 points off the bench. You can't win like that. Some other guys going to have to really step up tonight.
Sheffield defend the 3 so well. Surrey struggle from downtown. So what will Surrey's offensive game plan be tonight?
So, like I said, I think they're going to have to be in attack mode, but they're going to try and get the 3-point shot up. Like I said, Sheffield disrupt them from shooting the 3. They don't give that up. If they're not going to get the 3 up, they have to attack the basket. They have to find a way to get to the basket.
Drew, what has to go right for Surrey tonight to keep them in this?
Every guy on that roster that's not in a tracksuit got to step up and play beyond themselves.
All right, then, we are almost ready for tip-off here in Sheffield. The Sharks have been in very strong form over the last month. Surrey need to find something to get their season kick-started, to kick on for some kind of playoff run. Tip-off is coming next.
Nice pass, and Delpesh with the two-handed hammer. Oh, man! What a throwdown!
Sharks Scorchers, our live game tonight here on Sky Sports, and we're almost ready for tip-off. So let's head over for the first time this evening to our commentary team, Ant Rowe and Dan Rowledge.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, Sheffield in a rich vein of form at the moment. Surrey trying to find something to get their season going in the right direction. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game, starting with the Sheffield Sharks, and they have some weapons on that three-point line now.
They do. They're scoring the basketball so much better now because they've got formidable shooters there outside. Look out for Jordan Retino and Devonte Wallace spreading the floor and knocking down threes.
And at the other end of the floor, Surrey have signed a ringer. They'll be hoping he plays like one.
Yes, they will. Look, a difficult ask for him. I hope it's not a baptism of fire because he's played in leagues in France and Germany before. That doesn't quite compare to the level of the BBL.
Well, it's always a difficult adjustment when you come into the league, particularly for the way the game is called. The forwards, the centres tend to get in foul trouble in game one. Let's see if he can avoid that today. The two teams are out there and the referee is ready, and we can get things underway here at Ponds Forge, and it is the visitors who will get the opening possession of the game.
It's so important for the visitors to have a strong start here. Time and time again we've seen the Surrey Scorchers have a bad start and forever chasing the game.
Here's Davis. Thomas back to their captain, Ogundenbe, off the mark from the free throw line.
Well, the Scorchers look like their offense was patient there. Okay, they didn't knock down the shot, but they're moving the basketball.
Down low to Delpesh. Trying to drive along the baseline, looking for a whistle that doesn't come his way. Ogundenbe getting all the way inside. I think he was looking to pass that one off, and he misses in the end. And there's the first points for Des Ringer.
And that's so important. You know, when you're a new player, the adrenaline's pumping, you don't know what to expect, but strong offensive rebound there and putback from Ringer.
Here's Wallace. Down to Retino. 5 now on the shot clock. Drops it off to Delpesh, and he can't convert.
Delpesh, really difficult start for him, and he's a guy as well that the Sharks are going to need a lot more from now coming down into this playoffs.
Ringer going to the long finger roll off the mark. Glasgow. Cross court to Wallace. Calling for the screen. Working the pick and roll with Delpesh. And he got himself out of control a little bit there. He was screaming at the referee for a foul.
You can just see Marcus Delpesh right now just hasn't got that rhythm. He's trying to force the issue, trying to make it happen, but at the moment, very difficult first 2 minutes for him in this game.
Well, I think he's going to get the hook as well, because he's ready to come in as Thomas knocks down the 17-foot jump shot.
Wow, that was a very easy-looking shot from Delvin Thomas there. Nice, smooth pull-up for the two.
Well, Drew Lasker is with us in commentary now. Good start by Surrey here.
Yeah, they're up 4-0, but I've been more impressed with what they've been doing on the defensive side of the ball there. As Glasgow, I believe, gets called for an offensive foul, but they've been really engaged, really communicating on the switches, and playing with toughness and energy, something we've been questioning all year.
Well, Bennett Cook checking into the game for the Sharks with Delpesh sitting down. Sorry, looking to extend this early lead.
Good sign to have Bennett Cook back in the rotation as well. He's a guy that can, get you that 12, 13 points a game and post those 8, 9 rebounds also.
Here's Ringer at the foul line. It was off the mark. Cook with the rebound. There's Nichols, a little stunner along the baseline for 2.
That's what Kipper Nichols can do. I think he's got experience now in this BBL. He understands how it works, and we asked and we demanded more from him this year. And in certain games, he stepped up big.
Here's Davis. working late in the shot clock here, gets the ball back. Nice pass, cross-court to Thomas for 3, and he strings it.
Wow, that was a great pass, and I didn't think he saw him. I thought he was looking for the roll there off the screen, but found Thomas in the side there and knocks it down.
Good pressure on the ball again from the Surrey defense.
And you mentioned it at the top, and something looks different with the Surrey Scorchers offense. Really patient, moving the ball, getting good looks. Really promising start from Surrey.
Glasgow steps back, and he is a very efficient three-point shooter.
He is indeed, and he doesn't look to shoot the ball that much. He actually turns down a lot of shots because he likes to attack, and he's got that nice 15-foot pull-up as well, but that one looked comfortable.
Well, I can attest, being his teammates 2 years ago, that's something he did every day in practice. So a great shooter, great player.
And Dengby. A few seconds to work with. Thomas thought he got his arm caught, but the referee was happy with it.
Usually when you see a professional basketball player miss by that much, something illegal has happened.
Absolutely.
Cook. Sort of wanted to shoot it with the wrong hand for his position there.
He did, but when you compare him to Marcus Delpech's start, at least he's not falling out of bounds. I mean, what you're going to get from Bennett Cook is control, and you're going to get more of that finesse.
There's Davis looking to attack, getting all the way to the rim, flips it up. Ringer, he misses as well. Nichols drops it off to Retino. Good pass.
That's really good. And it's just good running the floor of the Sharks. But they didn't get that initial layup off the pass, but they have bodies running the floor, and Retino gets an easy layup.
Picture perfect fast break right there. Just making the right decision.
I think that was a pass rather than a shot. Whatever happened, it was a long way short off the rim.
That's always a danger with a new player. As you said at the top of the show, there's no chemistry there too. Lots of players in and out because of injury, and on that occasion it resulted in a Scorchers turnover.
Ringer with the foul on the slap down.
And that goes to your point, Dan. When you bring in a new player to this league, especially if you're a forward or center, you can almost guarantee that the foul count is going to be high as Ringer puts his hand in the cookie jar there.
It's a tough one to pick up as well. I mean, on another day that wouldn't have been called a foul, but you're right, you've got to know not to swipe down, especially so early in the game as well.
Well, he sits down with Dean Wanless checking in for the first time. Glasgow, dangerous to go under that one.
Well, I can hear the coach shouting, Coach Crean, no, not go under that screen. And unfortunately, they didn't hear him. They went under the screen, and Glasgow makes some pay. Second three of the night.
Davis forcing his way to the hole relentlessly.
And that's exactly what I said at the top. The Sharks has to keep a body in front of Davis, because if you give him an angle, he's almost guaranteed to get a bucket.
There's Johnson, down low to Cook. Spinning, that's a nice move, but he can't finish it off.
It really is, and he's got an array of moves down there. He's just got to, on that occasion he didn't convert, but it's only a matter of time before he finds his touch.
Dengby is fouled by Retino and will shoot two.
And Teo is a magician at drawing fouls. Such an experienced player. One of the guys that when he first came in the league could barely dribble, but I always say this, he's one of the most improved players I've seen over the course of my 16 years.
What makes him so difficult to guard as well is essentially he's a 2-3, but he's really good in the post. You know, if you notice, it's not so much I would say he's a finished post player, but he has really good awareness of where the rim is and how to use his body, and he's still athletic, and he's mid-30s.
Yeah, well, he's patient. He doesn't predetermine anything, and that's a key thing to any professional basketball player is you have to take what the defense gives you, and a lot of time he's reading to see how the defense is playing and making them pay.
Well, he makes them pay from the free throw line, puts the Scorchers back into the lead. 6 minutes gone here in the opening quarter. Zolo. Johnson now. Tough shot from 16 feet.
That is tough, and that's what they were missing. player who can create off the dribble, shot clock winding down. Antoine Johnson, knocks it down.
We were all going to make the Antoine Jameson mistake at some point. Here's Thomas in the corner for 3.
And he's had a good start. Thomas, 8 points personal, finding his spot.
And the game has really slowed down for him. His feature a month ago was against this same Sheffield Sharks, where he only scored 1 point, but the last 3 games, finding his rhythm, finding his feet here in the BBL.
Well, there's no shock to you, Drew, but he's someone who was injured as well. So this Surrey Scorchers team has been hit by the injury bug, and when a player's injured like that, finds it a little bit longer to get his rhythm.
Well, even last week they signed Henry Wilkins back, Surrey, and he got injured a minute and 12 seconds into. It was almost like he'd seen how the team play. You get injured straight away and give the physio something to do. Teo's 3 is off the mark. Glasgow with the rebound.
Physio better ask for a pay rise, because he or she have been very busy.
Must be some in the water down there in Surrey.
Tough shot from Mazzolo at the top of the keel. In and out.
Even Kalen Raftopoulos has been injured as well, so it's a less guard you've got in the rotation, which puts added pressure on Stanley Davis Jr., etc. So even Raftopoulos, having him along with his shooting prowess to bring the ball up.
Late in the shot clock here, Wallace fires up. Nobody in there for the rebound. Glasgow again open. This time he doesn't make them pay. Denby with the nice spin. Oh! And the two-handed hammer.
Goodness me. Ogden Denby with a spin baseline. Rollback of the years, high above dunk finish.
And like our guy Kieran Achar would say, disgusting.
Certainly was.
Well, there's an early candidate as Cook just gets the roll. And he will go to the line for the bonus. But an early candidate there for next week's disgusting player of the week.
It is indeed. What a play. Teo Ogundembe, but just down the other side of the court there. Bennett Cook finds his position. Nice move, and has an opportunity now to finish a 3-point play. Wasn't quite as dramatic or aromatic as Teo's, but hey.
They all count the same.
Exactly. But if you're a Surrey Scorcher fan, you have to be really impressed with this start. They're showing a lot of poise. We haven't seen what we seen a month ago, a lot of contested shots, not getting back in transition. This team has really seemed like they've come in together here tonight.
I think that Teo might have dunked it so hard he moved the basket. They're just resetting the basket at the opposite end of the court, because he moved it.
Well, long as he's not injured, we'll take anything else.
Well, he's been struggling himself with a hip problem this season as well. But it certainly didn't seem to affect him on that play. Back to the action, took a long way short, but rebound comes all the way out to Johnson. Johnson trying to create some space, no room there. Who'd that touch last? Must have been Cook, because it's the Scorchers' ball.
Again, it's just good intent there, good energy from the Scorchers on the defensive end, and at times we haven't been able to say that, just for the simple fact that they've got limited bodies, and there's been a little bit of disorganization down that end of the floor, but here they are, and Sheffield are on 16 points.
Inside the final minute of the first quarter. McLemore steps into the 3, rims out. He's been absent for a few weeks as well, Martel McLemore. Tries to work himself back into it. It's Tuck in his favourite spot. That rims out. Delpesh with the offensive rebound. Wallace is going to fire up the 3. Ringer with the rebound. Shot clock switched off. So Surrey can try and get themselves the lead going into the second quarter. Davis, a little hesitation, driving in, deflected away. Still time here for the Sharks. Mazzolo pulls up for 3. Ooh, the back of the ring as he tried to put a cap on this first quarter for the Sheffield Sharks, but we are locked up at 16 points apiece here in the opening quarter at Ponds Forge. A good start by Surrey as they try and get themselves going this season. We are tied at 16, and we will have the second quarter when we return. Welcome back to Ponds Forge, where we are tied up at 16 points apiece here as we get things underway in the second quarter. Here's Wallace. Tuck offering the screen. Here's Tuck now down in the low post. It's a little fall away, didn't have enough on it. Mazzola keeps it alive and turns it into 2 points.
Good energy there from Mazzola. I think that last shot at the end of the quarter there was on his mind. I think he would want that one back and quickly makes amends there with that putback.
But again, even though the Sharks scored there, you got to like the intent by Surrey. Hamrick bumping Tuck, getting him off his spot as he came off that cross screen. This is what we've been looking for out of this team.
Got a shoot here. Shot clock's about to expire. Got it away in time. Hamrick and knocks it down.
Lamar Hamrick. We've seen spurts of brilliance from him, haven't we? Tough shot.
Well, he has this talent. This is what I was talking about at the top of the show. He just has to have the confidence to come out here and produce every single night.
Delpesh hooks it up, but rattles out. Another rebound for Ringer. He's got 6 rebounds in the game already. Offensive foul called on Wallace.
I mean, what the good thing with this Scorchers team, they're getting stops, and you can just see their confidence growing as time and time goes on. Okay, that play didn't work out in their favor, but what they're doing now is making things very difficult for this Sharks offense.
And the last thing you want to do if you're a Shark, usually when you have a struggling team come in, is give them confidence early, because like you mentioned, Ant, that belief factor starts growing as the game wanes.
Belief is dangerous.
Well, Surrey have been giving up almost 89 points per game this season. They're way under that at the moment. which will be pleasing for Coach Raftopoulos as Delpesh gets to the ring.
That's a great play there. Delpesh just staying aggressive and staying with it. He's had a difficult start, and that's a tough finish there under pressure.
McLemore. Hamrick in the corner. Trying to get into the lane. Kicks it out to McLemore for three. A little short. Retino kicks it out. Mazzolo just lost his foot for a second and somehow manages to score.
That's really good control, because it's like he hit a wall there. Dean Wallace was standing there in his way, but he was able to regain his balance and finish.
Foul called on Johnson. Thomas back into the game for Wanless. Raftopoulos hands it off to Thomas. Now Hamrick. Nice. Oh, it was a right idea. He couldn't quite execute it there. Zolo stolen back though by Thomas. Raftopoulos. Inside to Ringer for two.
That's a great high-low pass there from Thomas. He has shown early that he has a lot of skill and something that Surrey could definitely use at this point of the season.
And it was his play on the other end of the floor as well with the steal. We saw last week, when you don't run back on defense, you get scored on. Scorchers ran back there. Thomas stole the ball, then makes a good play.
And there's another steal. This time Raftopoulos getting his hands on it. Ringer again, being told to go to work by his bench, but it's Delpesh who wins that battle.
Wow, you do like a good battle between the bigs there, and Delpesh challenging at the rim.
It's a great spin, but it's even better recovery by Delpesh to get his fingers on that ball, and it's an eye Ringer a route to basket. Timeout has been called here at Ponds Forge. Sheffield Sharks wanting to talk things over. They lead by a point, but Coach Atiba Lyons looking to change things up a little bit. The one thing I would say is, actually, we talked about Surrey and their defense and how many points they've given up this season. They seem to have deliberately slowed the game down, which obviously reduces the amount of points that can be scored, and then you don't need to score as many. The lower scoring the game, the easier it becomes to win in some ways.
Well, exactly. It's a great game plan for a team that's been struggling to score, mainly because they don't have the bodies, and you have a Sheffield team who all of a sudden is averaging 90 points per game. You don't want to get into a scoring battle. So what you do is you create a slugfest. You see they've gone down low a couple of times, slowed the game down, played tough on the other end defensively, gotten stops. We're in for a great game here tonight.
And credit to the Scorchers as well. You know they've got a defensive plan here, because they've created 4 turnovers for the Sheffield Sharks. Sheffield Sharks average 11. It's the second best record in the league, only behind the league leaders, the Leicester Riders. So, you know, Sheffield Sharks don't turn over the basketball, and the Scorchers have already made them turn over 4 times already this evening.
Hamrick drives in, trying to get it to McLemore, but Wallace read that one. Here's Nichols. 6 on the shot clock for Glasgow. Wallace has a glance at it, but it's stolen away again. This time McLemore knocking it loose. McLemore taking it all the way, trying to get his own rebound, and somehow Sheffield come away with that.
A great defensive play by McLemore, but on the other end, a 3-on-2 situation, you got to get an easier shot. He has to give that ball up and either get it back or create an open opportunity for a teammate.
Again, shot clock getting low for Sheffield. Retino driving in and losing it. McLemore round to to Thomas, inside to Ringer, but Nichols with the help knocks it loose. Whose ball is that? It's going to stay with the Sharks.
That's great hands from Kipper Nichols to come across there, because if he doesn't do that, that's an easy layout for Ringer. Intensity of both teams is right there, isn't it? Both teams going after it. It's not exactly the most polished game on the offensive end for either team, but intensity is certainly there.
Well, we're getting to that time of year. We're getting close to March. Playoffs are near. This is when it becomes about execution, scouting report, and doing all those little things to pull out a victory.
Wallace is shot off the mark. Retino on the offensive glass, gets it a second time, does he? But it will be a Surrey ball.
Well, he let the ball go, didn't he? It was like a double bluff to the referee, maybe, because he didn't go after it on that second attempt there.
Well, on the offensive end, everyone besides Glasgow seem to be stuck in second or third gear here for the Sharks. So hopefully they can get it going on that side of the ball.
Davis attacking the basket and laying it in.
A really good change of pace there from Stanley Davis Jr. and those two big, long strides there to the rim.
Wallace. Oh, that one halfway down, comes back out. It will go back to Surrey.
Well, that's what Scorchers have done a really good job of to now. Retino hasn't had an open three. Devonte Wallace hasn't had a wide open three. And that time, that late challenge there may have just put him off enough for that ball to rim out.
Here's Teo down in the low block. Kicks it out to Davis. Davis again using the long stride to get to the rim.
And you talk about change of pace there as he euros his way around to the basket there. And again, I'm harping on it, but this is a totally different team offensively. Very patient, running their sets. They are giving a lot of promise here tonight.
Retino kicks it out. Wallace off the mark for three. Delpesh keeps it alive for a new 14. Delpesh now. His shot somehow comes back out. Davis first to it. Has Hamrick ahead. And he jams it in.
That's how you execute an offensive transition there. The ball in possession and outlet nice and early, and Hamrick skies for the dunk finish.
Great work from Davis to beat Glasgow to the ball, drew the defense and fed his teammate.
And again, how is this offense created by Surrey on the defensive end of the ball? And you mentioned it, Sheffield, one of the best teams in the league of taking care of the ball, already got 6 turnovers there, forced by Surrey Scorchers.
4 of the turnovers have been steals by the Scorchers, which just shows you that it's their activity rather than Sheffield's mistakes. But one of the things Creon said to you in the pre-game interview, we've played well for a couple of quarters, 3 quarters, sometimes we have to play for 40 minutes. He'll want to see this sort of effort right up into the last minute of the game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Can you sustain it over 40 minutes? Because we all know the Sheffield Sharks over the last 5 games have scored 18 more points than they have all season. So really have gotten better on that side of the basketball. So Surrey just got to stay diligent. What they're doing is working. They can't get beyond that. And like we said, that belief factor is starting to grow. You can hear them here on the side cheering and chanting.
There's a togetherness that you haven't seen in this team for a very long time. You know, at the start of the season, teams can look like they're together because it's a honeymoon phase, everyone's new together, and everyone's being polite and everything. And then when you lose games, you can noticeably see the fractions there. We've seen that the Surrey Scorchers team, but tonight they look like they're together.
Well, the other interesting thing, we talk about their injuries, and obviously they're still missing legend Robertin, and they're still missing Jules Dangakodo, but Martel McLemore has come back. Oh, that's almost another turnover. Glasgow to the runner scores. McLemore has come back. They've obviously got Ringer back, and what that does give them is a little bit more depth, so they might not have to play quite as many minutes and might not be quite as fatigued by the end.
The true test for this Scorchers team this evening is if Sharks go on a run, how do they respond? That adversity, when that comes in, how do they respond?
I agree.
Well, here's Wallace, got to get to him. Can't leave him in transition. And Coach Raftopoulos, I think, thinks the same thing because he's called for timeout as the scores are tied at 27.
You see the relief there in Devonte Wallace's face there. You know, when that one got down, he's had a couple rimming in and out there. And the relief there to see that one go down. And that's one of the few times we've seen Surrey Scorchers not only not get back fully in the transition defense, but locate. You know, they've done a really good job up to now of locating the guys in transition defense. And on that occasion, they didn't, and they got punished.
Because Wallace is one of those guys. It doesn't matter that he's 0 for 4 going into that shot. He sees that shot. He thinks he's going to knock it down. He's going to take that shot. You've got to find him in transition.
Well, he's a bona fide shooter. He was the first person I saw out here on the court working on his jumper. And it seemed like 30 minutes went by and the ball didn't hit the rim. So sooner or later, they're going to start falling for this guy. He just has to stay aggressive and keep shooting.
Well, he shoots 31% from the three-point line, so that is not by any means what you would classify as a bona fide sharpshooter. However, you would not leave Devonte Wallace from beyond the three-point line. And part of that as well, he came in the season late, remember? So when you come into a team, you know, it's an uncomfortable situation. You're trying to find your way. But we've seen him, in this building especially, light games up.
Well, the TV game we had earlier, where I think it was his first or his second game, and suddenly bang, 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 and as you say, then everybody sees it, and they're going, "Oh, this guy can shoot a bit." Sheffield come in with a bit of full court pressure just to make it difficult to get it over mid-court. They're now halfway through the shot clock before they really get into their offense here, sorry. Good hands, Retino with the steal. Cook has the size advantage here. And Hamrick commits the foul.
Yeah, good foul there. I think Lamar Hamrick was going to... It was a tough ass for him to stop. Bennett Cook down there, that deep.
First foul on him. He made sure he didn't get the shot away as well, so no chance of an and one. Well, they haven't had much on the way of a home court bounce in this first half.
No, they haven't. A lot's went in and out, hasn't it?
That's the way to do it. Take the ring out of play.
You make it sound so simple.
Yeah,
Dan.
no, it is. Yeah, I was watching Kieran before the game shooting threes. Just take the ring out of play.
He'd love that.
Here's Davis. Well, that's not the best shot from 17 feet. Nichols for 3 for 9. Here's Davis in the open court. Pulls up from the elbow. Ringer's able to keep that alive. And that will... Oh, no, that... I thought that came off the Sheffield play, and the referee corrects it. It is a Surrey ball.
And Davis, who's had a solid game thus far, the last 2 possessions, 2 questionable shots. Looking like the Surrey Scorchers of old. He's a young player. This is when you need a veteran to say, hey, slow it down, young fella.
Well, his coach has done that for him. He's put Kalen Raftopoulos in and given Davis the last 90 seconds off here. There's Ogundengbe. He's got to get the shot away. He does, and he banks it in.
He's so good at that, isn't he? Instead of taking a contested corner 3, he composes himself, he gathers himself, he gets away, find a way all the way to the rim and scores the ball.
Cook looking for some options. Glasgow gets to the top of the key. He's very, very efficient from there.
He is. Rodney Glasgow off that screen. He's looking to attack. 12 points personal for him. He's had a really, really efficient game up to now.
Hamrick turns the corner, gets down the lane and takes the foul. He'll shoot a pair.
Good aggressiveness there from Lamar Hamrick. Again, not settling for the jump shot. He's had a good evening so far. 5 points, perfect from the field.
Hamrick makes the first one. I said Stanley Davis might get the last 90 seconds off. He's had 45 of them off. He's ready to come back in if this free throw goes in.
It's 45 seconds more than he had a couple of weeks ago. He's been playing 40 minutes straight pretty much every game.
Well, he might not get back in now as the free throw is missed. Glasgow down the lane. Oh, he misses the finger roll. Cook is blocked by Ringer. Second, that's a goaltend. Thomas swiping it away.
Don't know if that was going in as well.
No, I don't think it was, but it was still a goaltend. Let's have a look. Maybe it bounces over the front of the rim. It might have gone in. It might have gone in. It was a definite goaltend. Davis gets his man in the air, takes the contact. That is a better shot. Drew talked about the two previous ones. That is a good piece of play by Stanley Davis Jr.
And a good bit of coaching from Creon Rotopoulos as well. As you said, when you get a player who's had the green light all season, you don't want him to go too outside the team offense, and he's reevaluated his position there, and he's got the defender to commit the foul. Johnson's had a really quiet half. He's a guy, small sample size, but he's averaging 20 points a game for the Sharks team, and he's on 2 points, only took one shot. And you got to feel like maybe if you can get him going, then this Sharks offense gets going in its entirety.
Davis ties the game up at 32. There's one offense left here for the Sharks, 14.2. Glasgow a little early there. There might be a couple of seconds. In fact, Graham Rotopoulos is going to make sure that he gets full use of 5.7 seconds. Good time out here to give himself a chance at one more score as Sheffield regain the lead 34-32.
Yeah, sometimes you have to just play what the defense gives you, and Rodney Glasgow saw a gap there and exploited it and was able to get that pull-up jump shot that's worked really well for him. Takes him to 14 points personal. Lead no scorers.
34-32 with 5.7 remaining for Surrey to try and, at least level it up, if not regain the lead. And this has really been a very well executed first half by the Surrey Scorchers. They've dragged Sheffield down. We've talked about how their offense has been increased in recent weeks. Surrey have not been renowned for their defense this season, but they've done a good job defensively, forcing turnovers, boxing out, getting rebounds, making life difficult for the Sharks, and they've kept the scoreboard ticking themselves as well.
They have, and they've done it for 2 quarters, and the test that, of course, you have to play 4 quarters in basketball, and this is a team that's done that very rarely on occasion, but what a promising start for the Surrey team.
Here's Davis. But he just stumbles slightly, gets his shot away though, and it is good! Stanley Davis Jr. for 3 on the halftime buzzer to give Surrey Scorchers the lead.
Goodness me, Dan, he's lost the ball twice here. He slipped. It didn't matter. He regained possession of the ball and just lets it go. Hand in his face. What a difficult shot.
Well, he is a difficult shot maker. In some ways, the more difficult the shot, the more likely he is to make it. But that is an incredible, and it's funny, it's only one shot, it's only 3 points, but the momentum that gives a team going into the locker room after a half like that.
We've said that time and time again, haven't we, with momentum, and what the Scorchers have done a really good job at, they batted off these mini runs. They're still in this game, and the psyche going into this half time, you've got to feel like the momentum is with the Scorchers.
Well, you certainly do, having made that shot. Here's the numbers on the game, and you can see that Sheffield have shot the ball better inside, and really the fact that Surrey have been able to get to the free throw line as well on occasion has helped them keep that scoreboard ticking over. And 4 steals apiece. And looking at the rebounding, Sheffield have crashed the offensive boards a little bit, but Surrey have done okay from that. And, well, all those turnovers, there's only 4 points off turnovers in the game. Let's get some halftime reaction. Mike Tuck is with Drew.
Mike, you're part of our broadcast team, but your day job comes first. Sum up that first half for us.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing from our end. I mean, obviously, Surrey, one of those teams that, you don't know what you're going to get from them on any given night. And listen, the cameras are on, the bright lights are here, that they're showing up right now, making shots when they have to. And I think that's what we're not doing. We've had some open looks and we haven't knocked them down. Not really taking care of the ball on a couple possessions, few careless turnovers there. But I think Rod has really stepped up for us. And I think, we just got to handle stuff on the defensive end. That's what we got to do. Get better on the defensive end, limit them to one shot, and take care of offense.
And great piece at the top. You said you thought you'd be here for 1 year, now in your 13th season. What does the city of Sheffield mean to you?
I mean, listen, the city of Sheffield, it feels like home. I mean, they've accepted me with open arms, and I know I said in the piece, I've always said I'm Yorkshire's adopted son, and now I feel like I'm an official Sheffielder, so yeah, I love it here.
And you talked about your addiction to silverware. 4 in your Sharks career. What's required in order for this team to bring you a 5th?
I think we have the pieces to do it. I think it's just about putting all these pieces together. We've got so many strong characters on this team and so many guys that have come from, rich experienced backgrounds. So now putting all those pieces together, we've seen flashes of it. We just got to get it going, game after game consistently.
Thanks for your time, Mike. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
What a legend he is here in Sheffield, and they might well need him because this game closer than the Sharks expected. Surrey, a very solid first half. Reaction and analysis coming next. A low-scoring, feisty affair here in Sheffield. Very physical stuff, both ends of the court. But Surrey, with just one win all season long, have come to play. Teo getting in the act. Stanley Davis as well. with the buzzer beater to take them into the half with the lead. And it has been a very composed and organised first half performance from this Surrey Scorchers side. And conversely, the Sheffield Sharks, who've been in fine form offensively over the last month, have struggled with this organised Surrey side. And let's talk about that first up, Kieran Achara, because the Sharks are all about their defence, but their offence, as we outlined at the top of the show, has been rolling. So how have Surrey managed to keep them in check so far?
Yeah, I think Surrey did a really good job, especially with Ringer and Thomas. I think they did a great job. Sheffield wanted to get the ball inside to Cook and Delpeche earlier on, and I think Thomas and Ringer, they held up to the challenge and really threw Sheffield off.
Surrey get criticised for playing a lot of individual basketball. Have they seemed much more cohesive to you tonight?
Yeah, I think they've got off to a great start. They're running their offence, they're picking their spots, but not only that, when Stanley Davis started going a little bit, he started getting scoring, he broke it down, started going a little individual, he got subbed out. That's that accountability piece. He got brought straight back in, but he knew, right, actually tonight we are playing some team basketball.
Coach Grant had a word, I think, in that interim period. Well, you mentioned the fast start, Devon Thomas in particular, hot start for him. As we said at the top, he loves shooting from downtown, and he was stepping up tonight, but a provider as well, Kieran.
Yeah, he was shooting the ball really well. I think sometimes Cook was guarding him. It was a real mismatch for him because Cook wanted to be in the paint, but that pass there, to me, that is basketball, because he's versatile, being able to get the ball inside and make it easier for his teammates.
We saw that Stanley Davis buzzer beater. Let's take another look at it, because it was a key moment in the half, could be a key moment in the game. How impactful is a play like that for a team going into the locker room?
That's the momentum you want. You've been playing a good game, they were in the game, then they were down, and then all of a sudden making big plays down the stretch, going in with the lead. Different mindset.
Mike Tuck, in his halftime chat with Drew, was talking about how he wants to see his defence improve. Where do you think the Sharks' defence needs to improve?
I think from a Sharks perspective, I think their defence is spot on right now. I felt that they were doing a really good job. Some tough shots, we've said, were made. They got a couple of points of turnovers earlier on, but I think defensively they're right where they need to be. It's offensively they need to step up.
Not many players have stepped up offensively for the Sharks, with the exception of Rodney Glasgow. He is without doubt been their standout player and brightest light in the first half, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the only player to me that's been aggressive. And going back to what I said earlier on, they were going inside with Delpeche and Cook. It really threw the rhythm off from everybody else. But yeah, Glasgow gets these spots, comfortable in that position, and knows how to score the ball.
Absolutely grabbing the opportunity, isn't he? So far, so good for him, although the Sharks go into the half one behind. It's any plays tonight that might make next week's plays of the week?
I've seen a couple, and they're stealing my shine, because I'm saying they're using the D word.
Yes, trademark that. That is officially Kieran Achara. I will have a word with that and Dad in just a moment. Speaking of plays of the week, here are the best plays from the last 7 days in the BBL.
Back to Gordon, cutting back. Oh, Harris with another monster rejection.
And that's huge. That's a basket-saving block.
Nice turnaround. Nice sweet move for two. Nice looking shot.
Yeah, but almost a bit of the dream shake at one point there from Devonte Wallace.
Hassan took the dribble. Dusha under pressure.
He made it!
Patriots are, and the ball's just opened up for Antonio Williams, and he absolutely slams it home.
To the basket, finds Chris Tawia, jams it in. And London Lions getting what they want at the basket.
Crowd counting down the seconds. Fletcher, top of the key, knocks it down, but there's still 3.4 seconds to go. So Glasgow have called a timeout.
Wow, put the ball in the hands of your former MVP, and he shall deliver.
I never envy you having to make this call. Remember that we've worked with Fletch this season as in broadcasting. We will probably work with him again, so bear that in mind when you call your player of the week.
I'm actually giving it to a Plymouth double. That LVC Dusha big shot and then Antonio Williams with that dunk. That was absolutely disgusting.
Doubling down. How about that? Plymouth quids in. Brilliant stuff. More plays of the week coming your way next week. And will we see some of them from this game featured? It has been an intriguing and tight first half. And Surrey, desperately trying to get their season rolling, have put in a solid couple of quarters. Can they keep it up? Second half coming next. Narrow lead at the half for Surrey, a 1-point advantage. It has been a disappointing season for the Scorchers so far, but are they about to turn the corner? Second half coming your way, so let's head back to Drew, Ant and Dan.
Well, I've just bounced that question on to you, Ant. Are they about to turn the corner? Is this the moment for Surrey?
Well, we've certainly seen a positive start, and we've seen something that we haven't seen from the Surrey Scorchers team in a long, long time, and that's unity. They're together on both ends of the floor, and more importantly, they're getting stopped on the defensive end.
And what do you think Atiba would have said at half-time to the Sheffield Sharks team?
Well, somebody other than the name of Rodney Glasgow needs to come to the party. You know, you see the stats there. Bennett Cook with 5, everyone else with 2, 3, 4. They just seem like they're stuck in second and third gear. They got to get it going.
Glasgow with 14 of their 34 points in that first half. Atiba deep in thought there as his team make their way back out onto court. It will be possession for Cream Rough Topless' side to start the third quarter. Hamrick sort of vaguely near the halfway line, inbounds it. Denby, and he gets all the way to the rim for the lay-in.
Great start, and this is just as important as it is for the start of the games for the Scorchers for me. They've got to set that tempo and make sure that they have that exact same attitude and the exact same approach to this game as they had in the first 20 minutes.
Here's Wallace. No room for Nichols on the baseline. Scorchers looking to go quickly. Hamrick gets in and drops in another 2, and it's an early 5-point lead here in the second half.
And that 5 points is quite a lot. When you look at this low-scoring game, 5 points is a bunch of points when you compare the total so far.
Well, you asked the question at the top, Dan, if Surrey doesn't get tempted of looking like the Surrey Scorchers of old, they have a great chance here tonight.
Ooh, just got in each other's way there. It'll be a Sheffield ball. Well, we spent 25% of the first half with the scores level, which is unusually high, but we have a chance here for Surrey, if they can get another stop here to stretch what is the biggest lead of the game. Here's Nichols, and it is deflected away, but it will stay with Sheffield. And you can really hear the Surrey bench jumping up with the defensive stops.
But that defensive stop was started by Lamar Hamrick by denying the point guard the ball, and then Thomas stepping up, having a nice strip there at the end of it.
Nichols checks his feet, shoots the 3, rims out. This time the Scorchers do get their hands on it. Davis, nice pass. Ringer lays it in. Biggest lead of the game for either team at 7.
Oh, great job by Davis there just to penetrate. He didn't pop a forced, difficult shot himself. He creates space and dumps the ball down to Ringer for the easy 2.
And there's been questions regarding Stanley Davis running the point guard position for this team. Tonight, he looks a lot more composed, poised, getting the team into sets, looking like the leader of a winning team today.
Here's Glasgow. Johnson dishes it off. Delpesh caught from behind. The jam will count. He'll get a bonus free throw.
That's a great play there. Johnson, who's been somewhat submissive in this game. Great penetration baseline to create for the Duncan Delpesh for the 2.
And it looks like Delpesh has woken up here in this second half. But when you talk about Johnson, that's what happens when you average 20 points a game. You attract the defense. You get the respect of the defense. Now it's up to you to make that right play, which he did there.
Delpesh converts the 3-point play. He's not the best foul shooter you've ever seen, but he knocked that one down clean enough. Denby. Hamrick got a long way into that shot fake and then overcooked it.
Rodney Glasgow willing his team to run the floor. He's shouting as he's running.
Delpesh with the offensive rebound. Big collision, no whistle, but Delpesh is there again.
Great energy from Delpesh there just to get second, third opportunities there at the rim. And Antoine Johnson, for me, struggling. He's got to find that rhythm because they're going to need his offensive input.
4 offensive rebounds now for Delpesh. Davis with the step away. There's Retino, a lot of room for 3, and it's all starting to fall away here for the Scorchers in the last minute or so. Suddenly, their lead has disappeared, and it's the Sharks in front.
And that's a guy you don't want to leave open, and that open shot was created by the shot selection down here on the other end.
Davis for 3, trying to reply. Doesn't get the bounce.
It's so difficult, must be coaching Davis Jr., because when he takes a bad shot, he makes a lot of bad shots. And you think to yourself, you know.
It's Delpesh, who makes a lot of slam dunks, and there's another one, and he has certainly been the catalyst as the Sharks have wiped away a 7-point deficit and turned it into a 3-point lead.
Credit to Marcus Delpesh for staying with the plan as well, being mentally tough. He had a horrid first quarter here, the first couple minutes, but like the true professional he is, he stuck with it. 9.7 rebounds, and what an impact he's having so far in this third quarter.
And that's why they always say it's a game of halves. And Sheffield came out, started off a little bit slow. They took that first punch by Surrey Scorchers, but now look like they've wobbled but not fallen and waking up here in the second half.
Well, the first 6 points of this quarter were scored by the Scorchers. They led by 7. That was 8.5 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes later, Sheffield have scored 10 in a row and have a 3-point advantage.
But you mentioned this earlier, and is how does Surrey, who we've seen the camaraderie there from the bench, the positive throughout the team, but how do they handle the adversity as Sheffield goes on this mini run?
I said this time and time again, it's really easy high-fiving and patting people's backsides when you're winning and things are going well. It's really difficult when things are not going well. So, again, really interesting to see how these next few minutes play out.
Raptopoulos under pressure from Glasgow. Hamrick driving to the rim. Suddenly the lane closed up for him. Delpesh wants it inside. Oh, the pass hit the rim.
Yeah, poor execution. Good idea, though. I'd go back to Delpesh. I think they can ride this wave here now while he's still feeling good and knocking down shots.
Retino called for the hold as Thomas was trying to post him up.
Speaking of Thomas posting up, you see the difference between that high-low when Ringer's at the top and Thomas is at the top. Thomas had great position, but Ringer had missed him.
Raptopoulos looking for some help, just gets the pass back to Hamrick. Thomas for 3. Oh, they needed that.
Big shot. They stepped into that one, didn't he? Look confident. Thomas. 11 points personal.
3 of 3 from behind the arc. Here's Wallace. Back out to Retino. And he's clobbered by Thomas and will shoot 2.
And this is what Kieran was talking about at the top regarding Retino. You think of him as only a 3-point shooter, but he's great at getting in the teeth of the defense, cutting off the ball, just an all-around player.
Yeah, I think his slashing game's equally as good. He's really good. He's not just the cuts he makes, it's the timing. He's really good at going when the defense has turned their head. And he's quick enough where you can lose him.
The other thing is, Atib is quite happy to put him out there with this lineup, where he's down this end of the floor guarding Thomas, essentially playing the 4 defensively, and it gives them a totally different look at the offensive end.
Well, that's been the most impressive thing about him is his versatility. He's led this team in rebounding for most of the season, so he's a guy that can play outside, inside, really mix it up.
Raptopoulos trying to thread the needle on that pass. It came off Retino last, so it'll be a Surrey ball with 6 on the shot clock.
Well, you just see the large-scale size difference there between Retino and Thomas, but it hasn't seemed to be a disadvantage to this Sharks team.
Ooh, that pass only just had enough to get to Hamrick. Does he see the shot clock? It's going to be a violation. Raptopoulos fires it up. He knew time was about to expire.
And Hamrick, he really bailed the defense out there as Johnson got out of the play, and he stayed at the top dribbling. He should have either passed it or took a couple of dribbles towards the basket.
Well, coach was less than impressed with his clock recognition there. Pass a little bit low there for Delpesh, but Sheffield will keep the ball.
Well, I know, Ant, you can attest to this. When you're 6'7", 6'8", you say, throw it up high. Don't throw it down to my knees.
Those bounce passes are so frustrating just because you got to get so low to get it. But the advantage is to the guards here who like to come in the paint sometimes and try and steal those sneaky little balls. But no, it needed to be a better pass on the money there from Wallace.
Johnson with the catch and shoot, got caught, and he will knock that down. Bonus shot coming.
Wow, what a play. He had no room as well, and Johnson was able to hit that fadeaway like no one was there. Tough play.
And Johnson's a guy you don't want to get going.
You do not.
As he can score in bunches.
Doesn't convert the three-point play though. Sharks by 4. Here's Thomas, steps into another 3. And that one, for once, is off the mark. But they will get it back, Surrey.
He didn't knock it down, but Devin Thomas, he's dangerous, isn't he? Every time he shoots that shot, you think it looks good.
Well, here he is again with a little bit of room. It was a good challenge in the end, and there's a flop warning, I think, there for Thomas. Solo was diving out at him. Glasgow back to Retino, inside to Cook. He's double teamed now. He's in trouble with the shot clock about to expire. Ringer comes away with it. Hamrick running. Hamrick gets his own rebound and scores.
He did a really good job to stay with it. Excellent challenge from Johnson, but Hamrick's persistence pays off.
Johnson comes back for 3, knocks it down.
Goodness me. I think they've just woken a beast there in Johnson, because that looked effortless. Step back 3, easy peasy.
And that's what he's proven he can do over the last 3 games, scoring 63 points off the bench. A real spark for the Sheffield Sharks.
Raftopoulos trying to get those points back. Hamrick with the offensive rebound. Thomas. Shot clock getting low. He has to heave one up. It's a tough one, but he knocks it down.
Wow. Excellent defense from Glasgow there as well. Excellent. But Thomas's length and size, just the advantage there.
Thomas can play. If I'm Surrey, I'm looking to feature him more on that end of the ball, on that end of this basket.
Johnson off the mark, batted up in the air. Raftopoulos has it. Here's Thomas again, winds up another 3. Oh, 2 of them getting each other's way, and Surrey get it back.
You see how Sharks have to run out to Thomas with an ounce of fear there because of his confidence right now, and that's the frustrating play. The good part is you've got 2 players going after it, and then, you know, that look to one another. That was my ball.
Well, that's one of the precious positions in the game, a versatile stretch 4, because it totally changes the way you have to play defensively.
There's Ringer. Good footwork, but the handwork wasn't quite up to scratch.
That's one of those things he's going to have to get used to, the size in the BBL. You know, he wouldn't have come across as many bigger athletic players in Regional, in Germany, and in France and in 2. Whoa.
Oh, Cook dancing his way to the hole.
That did have that Strictly Come Dancing nature about it, didn't it? Wow.
Little foxtrot there. Here's Ogundenbi trying to use his strength and athleticism to get to the rim, but denied a path. Davis back to Raftopoulos, 5 on the shot clock. Davis creates room and hits the triple.
And again, another great defensive display by the Sharks, but like we say, better by Stanley Davis Jr.
I think you just don't play defense on him. I think the more difficult you make that shot,
the easier it becomes for him.
Incredible play.
It's an interesting tactic. Let's not guard him, give him an open shot. Here's Cook trying to force his way through, and a travelling violation is called.
Frustration mounting up there for Bennett Cook. He's having a really tough period in this game here. Good defense from Ringer. Sharks to stay tall and help coming over there from Teo Ogundembe.
I disagree. I think Ringer got away with one there, maybe two.
Well, we talked about getting used to the league and the officials. Only one foul for him in the game so far. 9 rebounds, 6 points. Davis flies it cross court. Even Teo can't get up to catch that.
Well, that's the shot clock winding down. You want the ball in Davis's hands, but not for that reason. Not to try and make the perfect pass, but to finish the play and create a shot for himself.
And you want him around the top of the key or at the angle where he can attack. He kind of buried himself there in the deep corner, limited his options.
Oh, that's as difficult shot as they come. That's great for him. A difficult one in the corner.
Here's Wallace. He fires up a 3. Chases down his own miss. Glasgow. They're harassing him and forced him into a travel.
Great defense there. Surrey's intensity there was top notch, and Sharks are rattled there.
Well, one thing that Kieran and I have said on many shows this season is that we want to see these teams playing more defense, and I think we couldn't have asked for a better display out of both of these teams here tonight.
Here are the Scorchers again looking to take the lead at the end of a quarter, but no way through for Hamrick. It's not loose. Johnson has it. Has a glance to the clock. Fires up the 3. Ooh, halfway down. Well, it started well for the Scorchers. In the middle, the Sharks made a run at it. This one is still very much in the balance here at Ponds Forge. It is a 1-point Sheffield lead. Which way is this one going? Find out with the fourth quarter after this. Welcome back to Sheffield, where we have a tight one here. The Sharks lead the Scorchers by a point. Neither team has managed 20 in a quarter yet. You feel the team that can get their offense going in this last 10 minutes will be the one to prevail at the end, but which one will it be? Here's Delpesh. Well, he's well defended by Ringer. Tucks there to try and get his team a new shot clock. Diving on the floor, held ball, and the arrow will go right back to the Scorchers.
Well, the team is going to be is the team that make plays just like that. Mike Tuck getting on the floor, keeping the possession alive, fighting for his Sheffield Sharks.
The adopted son of Yorkshire.
Dengby into a double team, breaks out of it, passes a little low, pinball, Glasgow comes up with it, Glasgow driving in and Macklemore with the foul.
That was a good push there from Rodney Glasgow, and he's been that guy. You know, if it wasn't for Rodney Glasgow, I asked myself, where would the Sheffield Sharks be in a large deficit, because he has 14 points personal, and the thing that would concern me going into this full quarter, he's the only Sharks player in double digits. And look, other players have came in since then. Del Pesh is put in some, a shift here in the second half. But throughout the course of the game, Glasgow's been the only source of offense that they've been able to go to and rely on.
Well, that's actually his first point of the second half.
Oh, wow, he didn't get any in the third.
He had 14 at halftime,
wow.
yeah.
And then when you look at the other side, Davis is on 14, Thomas is on 14, and you've got Hamrick on 10. So you've got 3 players in double digits that are feeling pretty good about themselves, and confidence plays a huge role when the game gets tight in the fourth quarter.
Here's Ringer. Back out to Davis. Long 2, strings it.
That step back creates so much space and effortless for Davis Jr.
Glasgow trying to feed Tuck, but the foot in the way, so the shot clock goes back to 14. Glasgow out to Tuck, fires up the 3 off the back of the iron.
Fantastic closeout by Thomas.
Well, when he caught it, it looked like an easy shot, and in the end, as you say, there's a lot of pressure on him.
Thomas is a good 6'8", 6'9", very long, isn't he? Good size advantage there.
Low shot clock here for Surrey. When Dengby spins, kicks, Thomas winds up the 3, misses everything, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
Oh, both teams' defense trumping right now. It's very, very intense out there.
Might come down to the team that can hit the toughest shots, because both of these defenses are locked in here.
Well, it's 2 points apiece through the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. If you Johnson couldn't pick it back up. He's late in the shot clock for the Sharks. That's a push in the back, I think, from Mogan Dengby.
Yeah, again, Tuck going after the boards there, pressing the glass. If you were watching the Sky Sports game last week, Newcastle Eagles, Glasgow Rocks, this is the half-time scoreline, wasn't it? The combined scores. This is a complete contrast of what it was last week. So if you're a basketball fan, you're certainly getting the variety here in types of games.
Absolutely.
Johnson trying to force his way to the hole, and doing so.
That's so tough. Contact there, creating something out of nothing. 9 points personal for Johnson.
Macklemore, not an easy shot to make that one.
Sorry, should have been a little bit more patient.
Wallace driving in, late whistle, but foul on the shot is on Desmond Ringer.
Well, better late than never. I think Wallace was arguing, oh goodness, yeah, that was a definite one. And as you said, gentlemen, Ringer's been under the radar there on the whistle watch this evening.
Well, no matter what league you're in, that's a foul.
Yeah, internationally recognized, that one's true. Assault in some countries.
And again, as much as we've complimented Surrey tonight, those free throws are coming down to the shot selection on the other end, which they've done a great job on offense tonight, but every time they take a questionable shot, the Sheffield Sharks punish them on the other end.
Well, Sharks with a 5-point lead. It's their biggest of the game, or equals it. Davis deflected by Delpesh. Ringer keeps it in play. Trying to get along the baseline and then losing the ball.
He did really well to get in the position he was in as well. He was in a difficult position in the corner, and he used his dribble and his body and his strength to get in that advantageous position, but then just lost the handle.
An important minute or two this for Surrey. Trailing by 5. They don't want Sheffield to get away here. Glasgow, nice pass. Delpesh using his strength, but overcooks the shot. Davis around the screen, trying to feed it back on the roll. Numbers here. Glasgow, they've recovered. Well, they've lost Johnson, though. And Johnson hits the 3. And 4 minutes into the fourth quarter, it is an 8-point Sheffield lead, their biggest of the game. And Coach Raftopoulos with a timeout.
They pushed the basketball. It wasn't by any means the most textbook of offensive transition. They didn't get that layup, but what they did get is Johnson stepping into that 3. 12 points personal for him.
And you can sense it. The Sheffield Sharks sense a little blood in the water here as Surrey is struggling on the offensive end here in the fourth quarter. Only putting up 2 points.
Well, this is the worry here. 9-2 the start to the fourth quarter. The one thing I would say watching Surrey this season is they tend to get behind early, but they tend to have a run in them late on. Obviously, they've been right in this game all the way through. They're only down 8. Psychologically, you can't think, oh, this one's starting to get away with us. You think, right, here we come with our fourth quarter run.
Yeah, I mean, that's if you base it on past performances. Yeah. I think we can throw that out of the window today because the typical lead, they give up 90 points a game. Yeah, so they've been a completely different team today. But no, you're right, Dan. I think they've got that no fear mentality. And they've got individuals on this team as well that will surely, won't back down to this. But yeah, down 8, I think they've got another push in them. 6 minutes to play. A lot of basketball left.
Johnson is up court a little bit on Davis. He's playing him quite hard, actually. Davis wants the screen. Out to Hamrick. Hamrick off the mark. Rebound falls to Johnson. Sheffield can open a double-figure lead here. Glasgow for 3, knocks it down. Rodney Glasgow, his third 3 of the game, Sharks by 11.
Wow, he used that screen and there was so much space there. Rodney Glasgow couldn't and shouldn't have turned down that shot, and he didn't.
Oh, Johnson's just got to watch himself here. He wasn't happy with the call, but his reaction.
I like how he's impacted the game, by the way, Johnson. We were sitting here at half-time. He's got 2 points. We're thinking, Johnson, you need to do more. And boy, has he done more. But it's been on both sides of the court.
Hamrick couldn't get it to Ringer. Here's Glasgow pushing, lobs it up to Johnson. And Sheffield running away with this in the fourth quarter.
Wow, your 1 and 2 guard combo there. Great execution on the break. Johnson with a finish.
14-2 in this period. Just 2 points in 5 minutes for Surrey. Ringer trying to find some room, travels with it.
Frustrating for Ringer, and even more so frustrating for this Scorchers team who are struggling to now score the ball. As you said, Drew, stuck on 2 points for this quarter. That's not going to get it done.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the offense got it stagnant here in the fourth. If you think about earlier on, their sets had a lot more movement in it. Bodies were flying around. It looks like they're just trying to punch the ball down low. And Sheffield is doing a great job of getting those bigs off the block.
Johnson mid-range. Oh, he really has heated up here in the second half.
He is an absolute problem, isn't he? Antoine Johnson.
Well, wasn't he just on 2 points? And in a blink of an eye, he sat here on 16, almost 4 points under his average.
Ball moves around to Davis. That's better ball movement for 3.
Guy, never say die attitude. Shows no fear. Davis Jr. keep going till the end.
The problem is they got more points on that one shot than they had in the previous 5.5 minutes.
Wow.
But the difference being bodies, ball movement, creating an open look for Stanley Davis.
Johnson turns the corner, drives aggressively, but no way past Thomas, who stares him down.
Wow, looked like a lot of contact there and a little bit of aftermath too.
I like that by Thomas, though. After which is a questionable, maybe it's a foul, but he stares him down and says, hey, it's not going to be easy down here. But then picks him up at the end there, showing a little bit of sportsmanship.
Give him a kindness. He's had a good game, Thomas today. 14
Absolutely.
points, shot the ball well, always looked the threat on offense, and he's been good on the defensive end as well.
Wallace returns to the game for Sheffield. Back to Glasgow. Over to Wallace. Puts it on the floor, drives into the finger hole.
Wow. I thought Devonte Wallace held onto the basketball quite a long time over in the corner, which then put a little bit of strain on the offense, but he found a way, got all the way to the rim.
Turned over. Nichols. Down to Delpesh. 5 on the shot clock. Wallace back to Delpesh. Not quite though. Outlet in front to Hamrick, who gets the 3rd score of the quarter for the Scorchers.
That was a good push and pass there, the Scorchers, and that's the way to get back into this game. They've got to get those stops and quick scores.
Delpesh. Charge.
I thought there might have been a travel there before. Kind of little happy feet, maybe moved the feet before he caught the basketball.
I think Delpesh would have preferred the travel. It's only his 2nd foul, mind.
Oh no, offensive fouls can be fun sometimes. You get to hit a guy really hard. It's one of those pleasant turnovers sometimes.
Here's Ogundengbe. Resets himself for 3. He wants a foul. Referee not interested. And it goes straight out of bounds as well.
Again, Teo Ogundengbe doesn't miss by that much. Can't help but feel maybe there was some contact there on the shot, but...
Well, even if not on the shot, maybe on the ball, because it fell that way short. But they gave Sheffield the ball, so it couldn't have been a block. Nichols, offensive foul. Hamrick taking the charge.
Cooper Nichols hasn't been assertive on the offensive end. It's 2 points personal for him, 1 for 4 from the floor, so hasn't been his night offensively. But again, he's a guy with that BBL experience. You'd want him on the court in the closing minutes of the 4th quarter.
Davis. Ringer and out of bounds.
And again, miscommunication. Wasn't a great pass from Lamar Hamrick there. Oh, and it'll be out of bounds, inbounds from Sheffield Sharks here. Rodney Glasgow to bring the ball up. Johnson in the corner, back out to Kipper Nichols for the three. Doesn't go. Defensive rebound there from Ringer. Davis Jr. off the screen. Back out to Thomas. Up to the three, knocks it down. Reduces the lead here. 9 points, favor of the Sharks. Johnson off the Delbest screen, pulls up for the three, gets it to go. And Sharks back up by 12.
Incredible shot from Johnson at the top there. Back come the Scorchers now with David, with Ringer off the mark. Glasgow looking to push. Into the final minute. Trying to take some air out of the ball here, Glasgow. Around the screen. Room for Nichols, steps into the three. Rims out. Delpesh fighting for the ball, but it will be possession to the Scorchers.
Clock against the Scorchers here, but they're still fighting. It's plays like this you've got to maintain now if you want to create a winning culture here. You've got to keep playing to the end.
Hamrick spins off the glass. And they're trying to pressure Sheffield into a turnover here. In the end, it's a foul by McLemore. It's only the fourth, so it'll be sideline ball.
There's good full court pressure there from the Scorchers. Almost created an 8-second back court there.
Nichols has it. Home fans in celebratory mood. And eventually McLemore called for the foul. Well, we're seconds away from a Sheffield win here. We might be a minute away from a Plymouth win in London. They lead the Lions by 4 with a minute to go at the Copper Box.
Wow.
That would be some result for Paul James and his surging Plymouth City Patriots. You think where those two teams were early in the season.
I think we just need to follow the Patriots. They seem to be in some blockbusters.
Tipped off the ring by Nichols. Logan Denby drives in, they'll give him a layup. Score margin doesn't matter. Nichols is fouled. It's not really a necessary foul with 13 seconds to go, but they're playing to the buzzer. Well, again, I said at the start of the fourth, who's going to get to 20? It is the Sharks. It's the only quarter in which either team has scored 20. Here in the fourth, Sheffield have 22, looking to make it 24. And that's been the difference in a low-scoring game. One quarter of 23, 24 points can win you the game.
It can, but this Scorchers team, if they continue to approach games like this, they're going to get wins. A complete and utter character change here. Both ends of the floor as well. Defensively, I thought they were superb. I thought the energy was there. And the organisation, something we haven't seen in recent weeks, which is really promising if you're a Scorchers fan. I think we've written them off. Scorchers aren't going to make the playoffs. Maybe they are now. If they play in a string of performances like this, get a few more bodies back from injury, then, who knows what's possible in the BBL this year.
Well, Rodney Glasgow leads the handshake line. 19.7 assists, 5 rebounds as well for him. He certainly led his team. Johnson in the second half kept that offensive firepower going, and Surrey just couldn't quite get over the line. But as you say, there are positives to take from them. The problem now is this has to be every week now. They've got to keep churning this out. It can't be different in their next game.
And the buy-in from the players as well. We saw periods of that game, very small periods of that game, but you know, you had players go a little bit rogue, shooting their typical shots. But you know, the coach, Graham Thomas, did a really good job, I think, today of keeping everyone in order, and they bought back into the team system, and it was very effective. You know, the Sharks, there were periods of this time they were concerned. You know, they were trying to claw their way back into the game. They couldn't, just because of the resistance of this Scorchers team. Very, very promising performance.
Comes back to 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes at the start of the fourth quarter, where it was, I think, 14-2, 16-2, something like that at the start, and that just allowed Sheffield to get a bit of a cushion, and it makes sure these people go off into the Sheffield night very happy with life.
That's where I felt like the discipline and the professionalism of the Sharks shone through there. You had Antoine Johnson, huge second half for him, 17 points personal, and he was really good on both ends of the floor. If you notice, he was picking up Davis Jr. at full court, wearing him down. He had a huge impact on this game.
An 11-point win for the Sharks here at Ponds Forge. Let's go back to Nat.
Yeah, it was a tighter game than I think many people expected, but in the end, as Ant Rowe just outlined, the professionalism, the veteran leadership within this Sharks roster stepping up. But Kieran Achara, Surrey and Coach Creon will take a lot from that game, won't they?
Yeah, I think they played great for like 34 minutes tonight. You know, I think they played 34 minutes of solid basketball. In that fourth quarter, they got shook a little bit. They went back to the usual individual basketball and got really punished, and it was game over. But there are a lot to look forward to, especially defensively tonight.
Surrey's offense was much more cohesive than it has been, and we talked about that at half-time. But it disappeared for much of the fourth quarter. What changed?
Like I said, I think they got shook. You know, Sheffield tried to press a little bit, kind of threw them a little bit off rhythm. They made a couple of turnovers. They were looking for passes, not being aggressive, trying to make the extra pass, which actually hurt them in many ways, ironically. Yeah, they just got punished for that.
Let's take a look at the numbers, and we figured with the Sharks being one of the most efficient defensive units in the BBL, and certainly that's been the brighter of the two sides for Surrey this season. It wasn't necessarily going to be an offensive masterclass, and it lived up to that. There were some strong individual offensive performances which we'll key in on next, but out of the numbers, what really stands out for you, Kieran?
Well, I think that Sheffield punished them offensive rebounds. You know, they got a lot of big rebounds, rebounded the ball, which really kind of punished them at many points in that game. And another big thing too, you look at the bench points tonight. Extraordinary. You know, we knew Surrey were going to have to be extraordinary to step up and withstand that. But you know, Johnson got going in that second half, and it was game over for Surrey Scorchers.
Yeah, that was a particularly key part of it. Antoine Johnson on fire. It was amazing how quickly the game turned as he started to really drive it. Why was that such a fundamental part of this Sharks offense in the second half? How was he allowed to get going and go on that run?
Again, I think, you know, I talked about it in the first half. I think Sheffield went with a game plan, get the ball into Cook and Delpeche. Don't get me wrong, Delpeche stepped up in that second half, but it kind of threw the rhythm off of the rest of the Sheffield team. Once Retino got going, Johnson got going, it was so hard to get, you know, they weren't one-dimensional anymore, and I think Surrey really struggled with that.
And the man pulling the strings for that Sharks offense is our MVP this evening, Rodney Glasgow, and he is courtside now with Drew.
Right, your team struggled in the first half, but you seemed to carry them until they got going, finishing with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. How were you able to find your spots?
It's just within the offense, you know what I mean? We wasn't, like you said, we wasn't getting going in that first quarter, so I knew I had to just be more aggressive, call plays for me, get us settled down and stuff like that. And then I knew once the game go along, we'll play Shark basketball.
And what were the second half adjustments as the team seemed to come out a little bit more locked in?
I think it was just defense. We was lazy in the first half, and that's usually not our MO. You know, Atiba talked about it. We came in more locked in, and then Johnson had a big half for us.
And you talked on the BBL show how the team is beginning to follow your lead.
Right.
What have you been doing to earn the team's respect?
Man, working my butt off before practice, after practice, getting on guys, trying to bring the best out of my teammates and stuff like that. And then, you know, if you're doing that, they're going to follow your lead. So I'm just trying to do the right things and then lead by example.
And finally, the roster's been tinkered with a few times, but it feels like Coach Atiba has found the balance. Yeah. What's the ceiling for this Sheffield Shark team?
Like I told you, man, we can win a championship. I mean, we was right there last week against Leicester. We could play with the best of them. I just think now we just got to get that chemistry up. And now, come playoff time, we're going to be ready.
Great performance, great win. Thank you for your time.
My guy, yep.
Well, he's certainly going to be earning even more respect from his teammates with a performance like this, Kieran. 19 points, shooting 70%, but as Drew mentioned in that interview, adding 5 defensive boards and 7 assists. Just a brilliant all-round contribution.
Yeah, he's becoming that leader on the court. And I just love how he gets to that spot. You know, that little free-throw jump shot, he knows exactly how to get there off the dribble.
He was instrumental tonight, and particularly in the second half as this Sharks offense started rolling. Defensively, as we expected, once again putting in an incredibly solid performance. We said at the top of the show, Leicester notwithstanding, they're most probably the best defensive unit in the BBL, and they demonstrated that tonight.
They definitely did. And, you know, what I said to them is they take away the three-point shot, they don't give up fast break points, but also I was saying that they don't allow the team to play their offense. They really get in the passing lanes, disrupt the game, and that's why teams who are playing against them find it hard to assist on the ball, because they have to make tough shots. And if you're going to live and die by tough shots, usually it's not going to end in the right direction in that win column.
They're in great form, aren't they? That Leicester defeat is their only one in the last 5 now. 4 of 5 wins for Sheffield. So they're timing it well, aren't they, as we get towards the playoff race shaping up, so that high seed getting sorted. But also, as Rodney said in that interview, they're going to be one of those teams that no one is going to want to face if they're in form like this.
Definitely, and in the playoffs, defense plays a pivotal role, but at the same time, they need to find a way to score more consistently. You know, they left it too late tonight against better teams. You never know what that might, what the result will be. But I think they've got the pieces. You know, Johnson is a big addition to them. You know, dropping 20 points a game, that is a huge addition to this team. So the sky's the limit for them right now.
And it's impressive as well, putting this run together when they have had the changes that Drew referenced in that interview with Rodney Glasgow. It will certainly be a performance that will please their head coach, Atiba Lyons. He's courtside now with Drew.
Coach, your offense has stepped up as of late, but it was your defense that prevailed tonight. Talk about that team performance.
Well, we knew that was going to be key for Surrey. Very talented team, a lot of different scoring threats. So we really drilled hard and got ready for what might happen in scenarios, and I think we did a good job when we got to them.
And after going 46 days without a win, you've now won 4 out of your last 5 games. What's been the difference during that stretch?
I think we're just gelling. I think Antoine's coming in, Devonte's come in and give us a real shot of injection of adrenaline, scoring the ball as well as just motivation and positivity. And the team, everyone's lifted. The big guys are playing better. The ball's moving better. It's a better team.
And you mentioned that your team is beginning to roll. How can this team win it all?
We've got to get better. I think we showed a little bit of immaturity tonight. We came out really flat. We missed some easy bunnies. You could tell, as a player, that when you come out like that, you're not focused.
And finally, your 252 victory all-time, which ranks you 6th behind PJ, Fab, Rob P., Kevin Cato, and Nick Nurse. What does it mean to hear your name surrounded around elite company?
That's great. Those guys are all talented coaches and great careers. I'd be happy to have any one of those, but I'm coming for them.
Congratulations, Coach. Great win.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's great company that he's in, and he is absolutely a bona fide BBL legend, isn't he?
Definitely, and like I said, he was a player coach as well. So I'm looking at Gareth Murray right now. There's progression.
The trajectory to follow there. Brilliant win for him, and that experience is instrumental, I guess, particularly with this change that he's had to navigate. I mean, BBL sides have a lot of change year on year, but mid-season they've been amongst the team the most in flux, really. So again, impressive that his veteran leadership has kept them on track.
Definitely, and it goes back to the year that they won the playoffs last. They brought Jarrell Brooks in it halfway through the season, and it changed the team dynamics, and they went on to win it. So, bringing Johnson to this squad right now, that's maybe the injection they needed at this moment in time.
Let's take a look at Antoine Johnson, some of his best moments, and dynamic is absolutely the word we want to apply to him. What an impact he had in the second half. Sorry, just had no answer for him.
Definitely not. And you know, I love that he is aware enough to know where his role is in this team, and he's been asked to go out and score the ball, and scoring the ball is what he is going to do.
They absolutely built off that momentum that he gave them pretty much from the outset in the second half, and Surrey watch the game slip away from them. Another player we want to key in on is Jordan Retino, because he was somebody we talked about at the top, known as a real sharp shooter, but as you rightly said, Kieran, there's a lot more to his game than that, and we saw that tonight.
Yeah, he moves off the ball really well. Obviously, we know he can shoot the ball, but at the same time, he was defending the fourth tonight and doing a really good job. So, a very versatile player. Yeah,
6 boards, 2 steals as well. A lot of the Sheffield side contributing. So what's the ceiling for them? It's something I asked Drew a month ago. He said a top 4 finish. They look on point for that right now. Are they going to be a serious dark horse in the playoffs?
I think so. They remind me a lot of Plymouth last year. You know, the Raiders, the old Raiders team, a very physical team that no one wanted to play against and could put on a great run whenever's called upon. So I think the sky is, they can make a big dent in these playoff run.
A solid performance for Sheffield, and a spirited performance from Surrey, which I'm sure, despite the result, must have pleased their head coach, Kriyan Raftopoulos. He's courtside now talking to Drew.
Kriyan, a tough loss, but you guys seem to be much improved in every category. Disappointed that the effort didn't reflect the scoreboard?
Yeah, I think a little harsh walking out here with the defeat that we got. But you know, we worked hard for 3 quarters, got tired. You could see the fatigue. We worked as much as we could to slow down guys. Glasgow was hot early, then we denied him a lot, kept him quiet. He got 5 points, I think, in the second half. Then obviously we couldn't control Antoine Johnson, and I think he had 12 points in that fourth quarter. So that's the difference right there.
And injuries have been the story with you guys, but you guys show potential despite it.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential in the team. I think, as I said, it's a double-edged sword, especially with Stanley Davis Jr., who I thought had a good game, but at the same time, he's got to learn how to look after the ball, and it's in those crucial times that he needs to make those decisions. So, same thing with Lamar, Devon. It's just about learning great shot selection in those crunch moments. And I think Sheffield had guys that knew how to do that, and we never. So, bad fourth quarter for us, and big win for them.
And it's your 8th loss since that New Year's Day victory against the London Lions. What's the message to the locker room?
You just got to keep on fighting. You know, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. So, you know, we keep up the energy. You know, I haven't tapped out. I don't think those guys have tapped out. Right now, it's just about trying to finish the season as strong as we possibly can. Our fans keep turning up. We're still playing out of full houses at Surrey Sports Park, so we need to get some wins at home just to reward those fans for being, you know, sticking with us. But yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, when you go into a game and everybody expects to beat you, that gives them a little bit of a psychological edge. We just need to figure things out.
Coach, you guys showed great character tonight. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, well said, Drew. That's exactly what they showed, and he'll definitely draw positives from that and from a number of individual performances as well. Let's start with Stanley Davis, because he is brilliant to watch. I mean, real highlight reel plays. But what did you make of his all-round contribution tonight? Yeah,
I love how he plays really hard. You know, it's like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got some great moves. He's got a lot, you know, he goes into his bag, scores in many different ways. But what Coach Kriyan pointed to, he sometimes strays away. He's got so much confidence that he thinks he can, you know, bring it to the table to score, but actually needs to get more people involved for better shots.
That is a hard trait to navigate, isn't it, as a coach? Because you want your players to have that innate self-belief, but it sometimes can really affect the decision-making process.
Very much so, and especially when he makes very, very difficult shots, it's hard to kind of reel him in a little bit more and think more about the team.
Speaking about making difficult shots, Devon Thomas, we talked about his credentials as a three-point shooter, be getting a lot of attention. 4 more landed from downtown, and again, another bright spark for them tonight.
Great spark. I think he did a great job defensively. He can see the floor as well. The one thing that disappointed me about his game today is he had Retino guarding at one point, and he still stayed outside and played more like a guard when he could have been dominating down low. And that's maybe an extra element to his game he could be adding.
So Devon Thomas getting in the mix as well. A player that we talked about at the top of the show that Drew was talking about here, wanted to see more consistency from him because at times he goes on runs. In certain games he really steps up, and then he's anonymous. And that was kind of the performance tonight from Lamar Hamrick, wasn't it?
Yeah, again, I think his shot selection, he's still finding his game. And I think when you're looking to start finding your game, you take some bad shots. He made some crucial turnovers down the stretch as well when he should have been shooting. Instead, he was he tried to give a simple pass, which led to turnovers and led to scores at the other end.
Right on cue, Drew Lasker has joined us now. Lamar Hamrick, Drew, as you've just seen, we were talking about, and it's what you asked for at the top of the show. A bit more consistency, a bit more control of the game. Didn't really manage to deliver that tonight, did he?
Yeah, like I mentioned at the top, the Surrey Scorchers need more out of Lamar Hamrick. He's the young guy with the fresh legs, deer legs, and he showed potential. He's had a couple of nice plays out there. He has all the physical attributes physically, and he has the skill. He just has to believe in himself.
Want to name-check Desmond Ringer, because his all-round poise impressed you tonight, didn't it?
I was really impressed, especially defensively. He did a really good job down low, got big rebounds. But the thing for me, I think they tried to ask too much of him down the stretch. I don't think offense right now is his game. So it's fitting within that space. How can you utilize him defensively, but actually don't expect him to make those big plays down the other end?
Well, we've just talked about 3 or 4 players, certainly 3 of them that had solid performances tonight. So there's a lot to take from this game for Surrey. Do you think that this could prove, even if the result didn't go their way, to be that catalyst, given the way that they played, to turn the season around and at least have a shot at getting into the playoff mix?
Well, tonight's game was a perfect example of what they can be, and this is something that they can build on, because what have we criticized Surrey on all season? Effort. That doesn't take any skills. That just takes that I want that I always talk about. And you could see it from the very beginning tonight. They were inspired. They were locked in. They just came up a little bit short, but in that locker room, they should be really positive. I seen Teo there talking to Stanley Davis after the game in great length, but this team can really build off tonight's performance.
Speaking of Teo, I wonder if Stanley Davis has broken the news to him that he has landed the Kieran Achara Play of the Day, Kieran.
This was really nice, composed, old school Teo, finishing with authority. I'm going to save that for next week, what I really thought of this. But yeah, that was a really nice play.
That's just teasing. I think you could probably join the dots there. Also, that is assuming that's going to make our plays of the week next week, but I think that is a likely bet. And final word on Surrey, Drew. Given that performance and the confidence they showed, that they weren't phased, that they had spirit for much of the game, that tells you that this locker room isn't lost and that they still believe in themselves and in this season.
Well, that's what's required out of you when you're a pro. Regardless of what your record is, regardless of what the score says, you're required to go out there and perform and give it your all for 40 minutes. There just needs to be growth from the point guard position. We saw there late. That was the difference, in my opinion. They struggled to get in their offense when it got late. But again, it's something that they can build off of. These young guys like Lamar and Stanley Davis can watch the film and grow.
And I was also really impressed. They were huddling up when they were making mistakes. There was pointing, my bad. They are buying into this whole team philosophy thing, and that's one thing that you're most worried about. Our players down, are they helping them pick them back up? When the mistakes are made, are they huddling around and discussing those problems? They are still doing those things. So Creon still is controlling that locker room.
And they were loud from the bench the entire game. I could hear them there from comms, so supporting one another, which I didn't see a month ago.
Well, if you weren't lucky as Drew Lasker to have a seat right by the bench, fear not, because we've mic'd up a couple of the players tonight to give you some exclusive sounds of the game.
Hey, let's get it. Hey, I'm trying to draw that foul. They can't guard you down there, man. You know that. Oh, hell no. Oh, my God. Watch it. Post him up. Bucket. Shoot that, Joe. Hey, when he comes, it's coming under. When he comes, go ahead, get under. All the way in and then rimmed out. I got. You might need me. You might need help. Let's go, right here. 1, 2, 3. Starts. Hey. Go, man. Good defense.
Love the fact that Mike Tucker's getting involved there, even though he wasn't actually mic'd up. Now, check this out. If you could see, everybody at home, if you could have seen the face that Drew Lasker just showed when he saw this result flash up. Look at this. Plymouth taking down London, 83-81, the final. What a shock that is. And if you didn't believe me, he's been like this for about the last 75 seconds, to be honest. What does this do to the title race, Kieran?
I'm going to say it's over. I'm going to go out there on a limb. I cannot see Leicester losing. I think it's over. I'm sorry, London,
True.
but
Russell has ordered the champagne bottles in the Morningside Arena right here tonight. It's over with.
It is no doubt a shock, but I can tell you, fellas, there is a lot of basketball still to play, including a big month coming up and coming your way.
Top of the key, knocks it down. The London Lions are the BBL Trophy champions. To the turnaround ball away, off the glass.
Well, it looks like you guys might have some explaining to do next Friday, because we're covering the Lions on the road in Glasgow. That's next week's game. Rocks Lions, 7 o'clock, 7:30 tip. Great stuff, both of you, as ever. Hope you've enjoyed. Congratulations to the Sharks. We'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.